I've recently been commissioned to paint several book covers. This is for a book titled Dear Diary, The Brainstorm by Sterling Jordan. In this video, I'll be sharing the creative process of that painting, the ready-for-print mock-up of the cover at the end, and in between, a candid view of myself, this journey of ours, and faith. Because before the paint ever touches the canvas, there's always a prayer and the hope that what I'm doing touches far beyond the reach of my paintbrush. Welcome back to the channel. This is Arts of the Round Table. My name is Mello. Thank you so much for being here. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. This is where we discover new art, we share stories, and we build a creative community that is rooted in artistic fellowship and faith. So grab a seat, get comfortable. You're part of the family now. Now, I'm going to be honest. These covers and paintings that I have been commissioned for are more than just an art project. This is part of the ebb and flow of my creative/life journey. I am currently unemployed. As of the moment of this narration, it's been 6 months, and it has been an emotional and a mentally fatiguing cross to bear. Not only am I searching for work, but I'm also pursuing a lifelong dream of becoming a full-time artist and to earn a living as one. Some days that dream feels close, and other days it feels like it's a mile away. But through the grace of God, through His mercy, He keeps opening doors like this one, like this opportunity to do these book covers. So I'm so grateful. So for this, let's start with the pencil sketch. One of the most refreshing things about this project was the trust. The author, Sterling Jordan, gave me real artistic freedom, and that's gold for any creative. But when you're working on commission, you still have to respect their vision. Sterling gave me some amazing ideas, more like feelings and concepts. The cover needed to depict an opening of awareness within oneself, as if you, the reader and creator, are about to unleash all your truths onto the page, your journal, your notepad, your diary. But it couldn't be so direct, like a man sitting at a desk about to start writing. We wanted to capture that moment right before the sparks, the ignition, when creativity starts to stir and rise. The challenge, one of many, was finding the sweet spot where my creativity and his vision became one. And honestly, it felt like more than just collaboration. It felt like alignment, like something bigger was guiding the process. Sterling was awesome. He dropped the 6 most empowering words you'll ever hear as an artistic creator. I'm going to let you cook. And that hit different. It was like being told, I trust you. Go do what you were made to do. And in that moment, I felt gratitude, purpose, and a quiet confidence that God was in the mix too. I have been dealing with a lot lately. Well, listen, the world has been dealing with a lot lately. But personally, my unemployment, uncertainty, me just trying to figure out what's next. It's easy to get caught up in the stress, in all of the stress, to feel like you're falling behind. But I've been learning to let go of that weight. I don't know who needs to hear this besides me, but there's this verse that's been sitting with me. And it's Matthew 6:34, and it says, "Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." It's a reminder that we are not meant to carry the weight of future uncertainties. God's grace is sufficient enough for today, and His blessings are already in motion, even if we can't see them yet. And man, that hits, and it reminds me that I don't have to carry everything at once. These paintings that I've been working on, they're more than just art to me. They feel like steps, like God's way of saying, keep going, I've got you. I may not know exactly where I'm headed, but I trust I'm being led, and that trust has been my peace. Let's talk a little bit more about the drawing process here. After sitting with Sterling's notes, really absorbing what the book was about and what the cover needed to say, I knew I had to go deep. The best way to show that awakening, that internal shift, was through a dramatic close-up of a man. Not a portrait of Sterling or anyone specific. It wasn't about identity. It was about feeling. I wanted the viewer to relate to the vibe, to see themselves in that moment. So I went tight, no extra space, no distractions, just a face, emerging from shadow like it's being revealed through a veil of darkness. The concept was simple, but layered, capturing the moment the eyes open, the instant truth breaks through. That quiet, powerful shift when something inside says, I see it now. That's what I was chasing with every line and every shade. If you're feeling this, if the art, the story, the journey speaks to you, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm building something here, step by step, pencil mark by ink stroke by paintbrush. And if you'd like to be a part of this creative path as I work toward becoming a full-time artist, your support would mean everything to me. Many thanks for being here again. Now let's move on to the painting. The drawing is done, Sterling gave it a thumbs up, and we're ready to paint. Off camera and a day in between, I hit it with a fixative to lock all in the pencils, and then I sealed it with a layer of gesso. And if you've been here for a while, you've noticed that I've been rolling with this process lately, and honestly, it's been working like a charm. I've tried all kinds of paper over time, but for this piece and most of my cover paintings, I stick to Strathmore Bristol board, and I use both the vellum or the smooth finish. The vellum's got a bit of tooth to it, which makes it super nice to draw on, and the smooth is my go-to when I know I'll be layering down a lot of ink. But once the gesso goes on, it kind of levels the playing field. It adds the texture that I need, it seals everything in, and so far it's been amazing to paint over with. So, as you see with the surface prepped and ready, I'm into the painting. I'm working with the Zone palette, which is mostly warm tones. You've got yellow ochre, vermilion, black, and white. It's a limited palette, but capable of so much that I am barely scratching the surface of what it can do. Now, even though the palette leans warm, I started with a colder light blue for the underpainting. That might sound counterintuitive, but it helps. That cooler base gives me contrast to build on, especially when I start layering in the warmth. It also ties in beautifully with the highlights and the brightness coming from the subject's eyes. That little pop of cool against all the warmth, it creates tension, depth, and a kind of quiet energy that I really love. The subject in this piece has rich, dark skin tones, but I didn't just want to reach for the usual browns and the ochres and call it done. That's not the kind of painting I'm here to make. I'm respecting the process, taking my time to build the tones with intention. I'm not painting a stereotype. I want to paint power. I want to paint dignity. Every stroke is about honoring the subject's presence, the way the light hits their face, the depth in the gaze, and all the part of the story. And I want the story to speak with respect. And as the painting plays out, I wanted to take a moment to talk a little bit about grace and about mercy and about how God shows up in my life. Not always loud or in dramatic ways, but in quiet, timely ones. I am in a season right now where things are tight. Bills, debt, the weight of it all is real to me. And I won't lie, when a deadline's creeping up and my stress level's at a fever pitch, I start to feel it heavy. But something happens. God provides. A project like this lands in front of me, not just to help me earn, but to remind me I'm not forgotten, that I'm not worthless, and that I'm not less than. And somehow I earn just enough to cover what I need. Not more, not less, just enough. And that, to me, is divine timing. It's grace. It's mercy. It's proof that even in the struggle, I'm being carried. I felt compelled these past few months to share this part of myself with you. Not for pity, not for charity. I just can't lie anymore. I can't smile and pretend and put on an act like everything's perfect when we all know that it's not. That kind of mask doesn't serve me, or it doesn't serve anyone. It creates a distance, not just between me and you, but inside myself. And I've learned that when I hide the parts, the hard parts, I also dim the light that's trying to shine through them. And since I started sharing more openly with friends and family and here, something's shifted. Not just in how I connect with others, but how I see myself. There's a kind of peace that comes when you stop pretending, when you let the cracks show and you realize that they're not flaws, they're windows. Windows where light gets in, where grace can pour through. This painting, this process, it's more than just art. For me, it's kind of a prayer, a way of saying thank you, Lord, for carrying me, for seeing me, for giving me something to offer, even when I feel empty. And if you're watching this, maybe you felt that too. That quiet ache, that longing to be seen, not for what you pretend to be, but for who you really are. I want you to know you're not alone. And if this piece speaks to you, it's not just my voice you're hearing, it's possibly something deeper. I don't want to come off as preachy or push anyone away. That's not in my heart. I just wanted to share where my passions come from, what fuels my paintings and my crazy ideas, and what I'm trying to build. Not just for my art, but for my life. And if you've made it this far, I hope I haven't lost you. I hope maybe I've gained a little understanding. Because this isn't just about paint and paper, it's about purpose. It's about finding light in the middle of uncertainty. And it's about walking forward. One step, one piece, one silly drawing, one exaggerated face, one painting, one project at a time. Let's talk about the challenges of this particular cover, because it's been a journey. Layer by layer, I've had to be intentional, especially with the shadows. When you're working with deep blacks and heavy contrast, it's easy to lose the image. But the key is restraint, letting the light breathe. I build up slowly using washes and dry brush techniques to preserve the form underneath. It's a dance between clarity and mystery, between what's revealed and what's left to the imagination. And one thing I love about gouache is how forgiving it is during the layering phase. You can push and pull values, build depth slowly, and still keep things feeling fresh. It's like sculpting with paint. Each layer adds a little more character, a little more story. You just have to be mindful with your consistencies. Just remember, if you're going to be using gouache, to go from thin to thick in terms of the consistency of the paint, and to let new strokes dry a bit so that you can begin to see its true color, tone, and hue as it blends with the previous layers. I didn't overthink this one. I wasn't second guessing or worrying about perfection. I just kept showing up to the page, trying to make the most impactful image I could. And during breaks, I would place the painting in certain parts of my house, and I would walk around to see if it would catch my eye as I pretended to be a patron in a bookstore. It felt good, honest, confident even. Even though I wasn't chasing confidence, I was just in it, present, and having fun. Also, this wasn't for me. This was for Sterling. The last thing he saw was the drawing. No progress pics, no updates after that, until it was completed. So I wanted the final image to speak loud, to carry weight, to feel like a moment that he'll never forget. Once the painting is complete, I move into the technical side. The book specs provided by the printers, guides, everything. The trim size, bleed margins, spine width is not the most glamorous part, but it's essential because the art has to serve the book, not just stand alone. For that I used Photoshop. I added the titles, some text, a logo for the publishing company, and now here it is, the fully finished cover for Dear Diary, The Brainstorm by Sterling Jordan. If you'd like to hear more from the incredible author of this book, check out Sterling's YouTube page, Sterling Unscripted. I'll also be sharing other book cover designs and process videos here on my channel in the future. If you want to support my ongoing efforts to become a full-time artist, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow. And you can also purchase my original artwork over on Etsy. I'll put a link to the store in the description. And of course, be on the lookout for books from Picture Perfect Verses Publishing, the amazing people who have hired me to paint this cover, and many others, at your local and online book retailers in the future. Guys, this piece is more than just a painting. Although it belongs to someone else, it was a way for me to share my story, share my grind, and share my blessing. Through the storms, through the struggles, I'm going to keep creating. I'm going to keep sharing God's grace every step of the way. Thank you so much for watching. It is greatly appreciated. This is Arts of the Round Table. My name is Mello, and as always, I'll draw you later. Bye-bye.